Let's go off.
Blog Talk Radio.
Archangels, ghosts, and Bigfoot, oh my. It's just another night for Supernatural Girls. Real stories, real answers to life's biggest supernatural mysteries. And now for another exciting interview with paranormal experts from this world and others. Here's your host, paranormal researcher Patricia Baker, on the one, the only, Supernatural Girls.
Welcome, everyone, to another exciting episode of Supernatural Girls Radio. I'm your host, Patricia Baker, and it is June. Oh, my goodness, time is flying. It is June 7th, 2023, and PK, you're here with us tonight, thank goodness, all the way from Tucson, and we have a fabulous show and an incredible guest. We're so happy to have him here. We have Dr. William Forstchen. He is here with us today, and we have a bit of an unusual subject for us, but it is an important one. It's all about EMPs. We need to be informed, and Dr. Forstchen is the man to speak with about this. So we're going to bring him on in just a few minutes. But PK, what do you have for us tonight?
Well, because the fact that this is a 4 universal month, and June deals with health, it deals with details of things, but the 4 strongly deals with following rules and not trying to take shortcuts, because it's going to be very necessary to follow the rules at this time, because the consequences we're going to find are going to be costly for the emotions as well as the finances. So the 4 directions to try and reorganize and make our issues more efficient daily. Money may appear to be tight, and it will. You can save where you can because you're going to need it in the future. But remember that shortcuts do cause us to have to review and redo if not careful. Please follow through, because getting angry is going to accomplish nothing. Hard work is always required when the 4 is around. Taking a good look at our health is definitely required. And know that I don't care if you've got 50 cents in your hand or $50 in your hand. You're going to feel broke. That's the nature of the beast. So take care where you can, stay in balance the best you can, and watch that anger, because I'm going to use the phrase people are going to have a tendency to be somewhat, I'll call it flash mad. They get mad and it's equally gone as quickly, but it does put the blood pressure way out of whack. So just something to think about.
That's a lot to think about. Well, thank you for taking a look at that for us. Yes. Well, and I wanted to share something tonight. You know, this new revelation that came out about the government having an actual UFO retrieval group. You know, we knew this. This is not news to us. We've been involved in this for over 30 years. And it's a subject that we have followed. We've brought some of the best people in the world onto the show to talk about UFOs and abductions, etc. But I have to say, the real heroes in this are not these whistleblowers coming forward. The heroes, to me, are the abductees that came forward years ago. I'm talking about Betty Andreas and Luca. I'm talking about Bob Luca. I'm talking about Betty and Barney Hill, Travis Walton, Whitley Strieber. We've had them all on the show, except for Betty and Barney, who passed away. But I knew Betty. And, again, those are the people who spoke out when it wasn't cool to speak out. And they stood by their experiences and said, this is what happened. And they faced all kinds of ridicule and all kinds of finger-pointing, and the government did what it could to basically harass them. And Bob Luca has a great story to tell. You know, he's been on the show several times talking about what happened to them after their book came out, The Andreasen Affair. So those are the heroes to me. And I think everybody in our audience understands why I'm saying that. there are so many people speaking out now. I'm not sure who they really are. I think it's great if they're on the level and they're sharing good information. But we knew they had retrieval crews. And we know a lot that has not been discussed, and we've been told that the government is absolutely refusing to discuss the abduction side of this. So, anyways, we know what's going on, and that's why we continue to bring you the best experts and experiencers that we trust and we know to the show. We're going to continue to do that for you. So tonight, we have the best expert on something that has really been troubling us, maybe you too, but he's going to give us the lowdown on EMPs, EMP strikes. And I'm going to tell you about him. He's really a special person, very, very intelligent and an expert in this field, Dr. William R. Forstchen. Now, he's a New York Times bestselling author and a professor of history at Montreat College in Montreat, North Carolina. He holds a doctoral degree from Purdue University with a specialization in military history and technology. And he is the author of more than 50 books, including the 1 Second After series that details the realistic effects of an EMP strike. And the one we're talking about tonight, the book that we really loved and hope you will also get a chance to read, is called 5 Years After. Now, also, Dr. Forstchen is a noted expert historian and public speaker. He's been interviewed on Fox News, C-SPAN, and many others on topics ranging from history to technology and cultural issues, to space technology development, to security threats. He is the man tonight. Dr. Forstchen, welcome to the show.
Good evening. Great to be with you. And I understand you're in Massachusetts, so how much smoke do you have up there this evening?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm scared to go outside. Does that tell you anything? It's really bad here. It's unfortunate that all of this, that apparently all of Canada is on fire. But I'll tell you what concerns me. We in the United States have offered help to put these forest fires out, and Canada's refusing our help. What do you make of that?
The Canadian government, well, no comment, okay? I think they are.
Okay.
That said it all.
Yeah, that says it. Well, you have smoke down there too?
Yeah. It's pretty smoky out, and I'm feeling a bit scratchy in the eyes and slightly asthmatic tonight. So, yeah.
Oh, gosh.
It's been an unexpected.
It's horrible. I've never seen the skies look like this in Massachusetts. It is pretty horrific. So I hope this is over soon for everyone's sake, and especially the people you mentioned that you got asthmatic over this. So many people that have COPD and other challenges with breathing normally, and here is very toxic air coming our way. So, yeah, let's hope this comes to an end soon. So, yeah. Dr. Forstchen, this subject is so troubling, and yet you are an expert on this. So maybe we should start this way. Can you tell our audience what is an EMP strike?
Okay, good place to start. EMP stands for electromagnetic pulse weapons. Electromagnetic pulse is generated by detonating a small nuclear weapon above the Earth's atmosphere, about 200 miles up. It sets up an electrostatic discharge that's known as the Compton, C-O-M-P-T-O-N, the Compton effect. That cascades down to the Earth's surface, sets up an overload through our electrical grid, through all the wiring, which become antennas, and it starts shorting our system out. Worst case scenario, if somebody like North Korea would place three nuclear weapons over the United States, detonate them, Eastern United States, Central United States, Western United States, the entire grid is going to go offline within a matter of seconds, and it will not come back on. It's been permanently destroyed, actually.
Wow.
Wow.
Frightening.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's permanent. That's no way it's coming back.
Yeah, Hollywood always seems to get it wrong where, okay, we'll set off the EMP, it'll last 30 seconds, and everything comes back to normal after we rob the bank. It's not true. It shorts out the high-tension lines, which actually will fry off and drop, can feed into the electrical grid systems and short them out. The bad news in all of this is, according to several congressional studies, the aftermath of such an event, 5 years later, 80% of our grid would still be offline. That's 5 years later.
Jeez.
And the casualty rate could go as high as 90% within a year or two. That's 90% of all Americans. We don't realize that, we do realize in a way, electricity is the fundamental building block of our society. Pull that out, everything else starts to collapse. Food distribution, water, medication, command and control, they all go offline.
This is more than spooky. I mean, this is going to keep me up tonight, I have to say. Again, I didn't realize that once it was fried, the way you describe this kind of attack, that it's gone for good. I mean, that's huge, that it's gone for good. I mean, that's just sinking in right now.
Well, one of my big frustrations in dealing with this, and I've been dealing with it for 15 years, is that the key components in our grid, particularly things like transformers and such, the ones you see right down in your power station, the substation, street, where do you think all those components are now manufactured? Take a guess.
China.
Exactly.
Farmed out are all those key components for our electrical grid. We farmed out the manufacturing 30-odd years ago. I mean, maybe a comparison this way. We're at the position equivalently that it was back to December 7th, 1941. If that evening the president's meeting with his advisors and one of them stands up and says, Mr. President, we have a problem. All our aircraft carriers are made in Japan. All our planes are made in Germany. Now what the hell do we do? That's the situation we're in now. The components are not being manufactured in the United States in a logical manner. They're not being stockpiled. Average major transformer can take up to 2 years from the time we realize we need a replacement until the new component comes in from China. It's a terrible, frightening situation.
Now,
how did we allow this to take place? How have we allowed this to take place? Or I should say, why?
Decades of neglect. When we saw the Rust Belt collapse in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, where all sorts of major manufacturing, steel, automobiles, everything else, we started farming it out to other countries. And America lacks the industrial base it once had. The nuts and bolts of basic things that we need are no longer manufactured here. We just ship them all in through China and we send the money back out. That's not a situation that's sustainable forever. Sooner or later, there's going to be a reckoning.
Now, have you testified before Congress or anybody to try to wake up these sleeping idiots that are supposed to be caretakers of this?
Yeah, I've testified before a couple of statewide legislative committees, and it was frustrating. When I did North Carolina about 5 or 6 years back, the Duke Energy people were there, but they were saying, the guy's a science fiction writer. Don't worry about it. Well, now Duke is responsible. This weekend I'm going down to Charleston to talk to this South Carolina Energy Consortium. On a state level, things are finally happening, but on the federal level, zero. We have $1 trillion green energy bill, but we don't have, as part of that bill, let's rebuild our electrical system, because the average component in our system is 40 to 50 years old. These old transformers, Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
especially for something as fundamental as electricity. We don't have the depth and an infrastructure that we should have to survive something.
Mm.
Is there
That's
anything that we can do as just citizens of this country that is being totally misled, in our opinion, along so many lines? Is there anything that citizens can do to help to like raise awareness or start putting pressure on some of these people that are supposed to be doing their job and taking care of these things?
Well, my mentor in all this, I called him my guru, my mentor, was Dr. Peter Pry, who as early as the 1990s was working on this issue. Peter passed away about 4 months ago, much lamented.
Oh, no.
Because he kept pushing. He managed to help get 2-3 bills before Congress, but they were all voted down when they were in committee. Mikowski was a big terror on those things. So I urge people, start in your home. Every home should have a month or two of emergency supplies on hand. And it's not like you're a prepper and spending a lot of money. Just, if you have nothing, next time you go to the market, pick up about $20 worth of canned food. Stick it in the closet. For water, empty out 2-liter soda bottles, fill them up with water, put them in the closet, or buy a couple cases of water. Buy a very simple water purifier for $25 or $30 at Walmart or a camping store. Right there, you're ahead of the game as far as everybody else goes. On a political level, I urge people work on the state level because your state reps are a heck of a lot more responsive than the blankety blank so-and-sos who currently occupy,
Yes, we agree.
We've seen nothing regarding federal activity since the current administration came in.
Yeah.
We're not surprised. I mean, we sit here and talk about this together with other guests, too. I mean, it's just that there's nothing being done that makes any sense to help this country. We see billions of dollars going overseas for God knows what, and nothing here to take care of things at hand. So it's on purpose. I don't believe anybody's that stupid. I think it's totally on purpose. But it's good advice that you're giving us tonight. Thank you for preparing as best we can.
The frustration for me is that we'll have to talk politics for a minute. The previous administration, Trump, shortly before the end of his term, he mandated the DOD, DOE, all the other agencies to put together a comprehensive report to be submitted to the White House, I believe it was 3 months after the election, so it would have been April 2021, of what needs to be done, and then use that to create the bills necessary to get the funding. Well, guess what happened on the day Biden became president? He killed it. He killed it.
He killed everything
Surprise.
else.
Yeah.
Don't bother with the report. Now, we go on then to mandate $1 trillion green energy bill, but I've read through it. There's nothing in there about let's replace basic components, and secondly, why don't we start creating a strategic stockpile around the country of key components that if we do get shorted off in an EMP or another one that worries, a coronal mass ejection, a major solar storm, that we can rebuild quickly. We don't have the spare parts in place. Nothing in the current spending bills allow for that.
That's awful.
Yeah,
even at our level, like I live up in the Berkshire area of Massachusetts, the wiring here, even for our electricity and our telephones, whatever, it's antiquated. And we have a system that tells us when there's a momentary outage. And somebody came and read took the readout on the computer and said, do you know you have about 300 momentary outages in just about 10 days? And you know what that does to your electrical appliances. It just destroys them. So, I reported this, got a hold of our center and said, hey, something's got to be done here. And nothing was done. But I'm still on top of it, and the best I can be, because these people are so non-responsive. And we ended up getting a generator because the power went out here so often. And because there's just a small population in the small towns, it's not a priority when the power goes off. So we quickly learn.
That's why I urge people, start work. If you're going to work on this politically, work at the state level. Because if your state rep, 50 emails, phone calls say, this is my concern, I want something done, they'll be a lot more responsive than Representative so-and-so in Washington, D.C., who's getting all the kickback money and everything else. State level is...
So that's the place to go. Now, in terms of approaching these people, is there some information, like do you have a website where people can pull information and say, this is our situation, you need to do something about it, and it has all the right terminology and explains it so that the people in office can understand it?
Well, my current website is down for redesign, but a great place to start, if you're willing to go through just, some bureaucratic language, the Congressional Report on EMP. There's been several of them. The first one, I believe, was in 2002. That lays it out in clear language. What will happen, what needs to be done. Congressional Report to Congress on EMP. You can look it up.
Oh, that's great. That's perfect. Thank you.
There's dozens of other sites available online. Some of them are very good advice, some of them are a bit extreme, but that's a good place to start.
Now, in terms of this EMP actual strike, I was listening in preparation for your interview tonight to an ex-CIA agent who was talking about one of the ways this would happen is that there would be some type of a cyber attack first, so we would be knocked out on that level, would not have any warning. Is that how this might go?
Yeah, 1-2 strike. My concern, of course, the big one is EMP. Now, now the 10-second plug for my college, Montreat College, Montreat, North Carolina. We have an exceptional cybersecurity degree program, bachelor's in cybersecurity. I'll go into the lab we have. Very high-tech, modern lab, and I'll be sitting there, and the kids will say, hey, look at this, look at that. We are under constant attack. Hundreds and hundreds of attempts every day to hack into our systems. Some of them succeed. And one of the nightmare scenarios is what your ex-CIA friend said, to do a blunt, excuse me, too much coffee. Excuse me. Okay. Too much. Initial attack could very well be cyber. Now, my big concern is not China or Russia, because in terms of an EMP, if they ever launched a strike against us with 1 to 3 nuclear weapons, we will retaliate. I am really concerned about North Korea, Iran, or some terrorist state who might very well one day say the heck with it. For example, suppose the nut house in North Korea finds out he's terminal.
Yeah,
and he figures,
a scary one.
I'm going to go out in a blaze of glory. I'm going to take the United States with me. He could actually take the United States with him. That's the type of attack I fear.
That makes sense, unfortunately. Yes. Yes. So, but we are, with students that are graduating from Montreat College and that are such, obviously you're turning out experts in this field, they have learned how to find these cyber attacks and disable them. So maybe we're hopefully going to stand a chance.
Well, however, we're woefully understocked. I was talking with the president of my college just a couple of weeks ago. We were talking about this, and he said the current deficit for cybersecurity, people working in cybersecurity, is over 100,000 personnel slots need to be filled. We graduated 150 kids. Yeah. We need,
how many did you graduate?
We graduate about 150 people in cybersecurity now, out of a student population of about we're a small school. We define ourselves as, my college teaches the white hats to fight against the black hats.
Mm-hmm.
And those kids go in $100,000 jobs, but we don't have enough of them. We're barely scratching the surface on what needs to be done to provide personnel to protect our country as well.
Gosh. Well, it's nice to know that you have college for people to go to learn this skill, because it is an incredible skill, and I would think there would be so many young people interested in this. Maybe not, but 150 people isn't going to scratch the surface when you need 100,000.
Yes. Well, at least we're making a slight effort. More programs are starting up, and I keep telling kids, all right, you want to major in gender studies and get a job in a liquor store, or do you want to major in something real and get a $100,000 job? The choice is obvious.
Oh, God, yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
great.
Absolutely. Now, we had talked a little bit before we came on the air about items that are being advertised that will supposedly protect your electronics, your car, your house, if there is a strike like this. What are your thoughts on these devices? Do they work? Are some of them really worth the money?
Well, item number one, it's known as a Faraday cage, Faraday. Everybody has one in their house already. It's your microwave.
Really?
Oven. Your microwave oven is a Faraday. Yeah, look at the glass. You're going to see a wire mesh in the glass. That blocks out, well, in that case, it blocks out the potential harm that a microwave can project out to us. Things like Faraday cages, some people advertise solar energy systems with solar panels. I'm not going to speak whether they're really good or not. I really don't research the market that much. I do get offers to endorse something. I don't endorse anything. I don't want to get tied up in that. I just write the books and go out and talk about them. But do some research, if you have a prepper supply base near you, check it out. Check it out online. Talk to some people. See what they say. You don't need high-end ticket things, but having a possible small solar generating system that you could at least recharge some things to go a long way. And again, the usual, having food, stuff like that, water, medication. And that's a key thing. If you're on any kind of medication, do not do as I often do when I'm down to one pill left. I go to the pharmacy to get a resupply.
Right.
I know that one.
Because for those of us that have crucial medication, you don't want to be caught short-handed, which, I had somebody like that when I was writing the books, people running out of med. Talk to your doctor. If you can legally get a 3-month supply on hand, do it. Just stash it away and then just keep resupplying it every month thereafter. It doesn't take much to be basically prepared. Boy, this smoke is getting to me. Okay. I'm okay. It's just my eyes are killing me. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm just a bit raspy.
It's that smoke. Well, let's go back to the microwave when you talk about that being an actual Faraday cage. So if you knew an EMP was coming and you put some of your electronics in your microwave, you could preserve them, yes? or no?
Yes, pull the plug out. Pull the plug out.
Oh,
pull the
okay. The plug
plug
has
out.
to be pulled.
Yeah, and everybody has an old microwave down in the basement. Same thing. It's a Faraday cage. Or if you're a do-it-yourselfer type, you can make Faraday cages for, not much money. But you're not going to be able to protect your car unless you're really mechanically inclined and you got the electronics. But most cars made after about 1985, 1990 have so many computers in them that they will fry off in a major EMP attack, and your car will be useless as well.
Yes,
so,
exactly.
But talk to some experts in these particular areas. Like I said, I'm a novelist. I write about this. I'm not doing research on what is the latest product. Some of them are pretty darn good. I've seen them. Others, I'm a little bit dubious. You'll have to do the research there.
Well, yeah, that makes sense. So we basically, as a society, as a culture, we would just come to a halt because even if we were to preserve our cell phones and our computers, what do we do with them? I mean, would there still be people left to even talk to through the computer and the phone? I mean, what's the point of keeping them okay?
Well, your cell phone ain't going to work.
Right. Well, that's exactly what I'm thinking.
Because the cell phone towers are going to short off. A funny story. Shortly after the first book in this, 1 Second After, which I recommend if you're going to read any of these books, read that one first. That's the basic book on it, and the others follow through over the next couple of years. But one evening, my daughter and I are sitting on the deck watching a thunderstorm come in, and kaboom, the whole valley, from my house all the way past Asheville, went dark. A major substation had been hit. My daughter looks at me, and I get very nervous. Daddy? And I said, turn on your cell phone. Turn it on. I said, your cell phone works. It's not an EMP. Well, about a minute later, one of the administrators at the college called me, and his opening line was, my God, Bill, is this it? Is this an EMP?
No.
And I said, yeah, we're really screwed.
Oh, no.
And then I calmed him down. I said, look, I'm just kidding with you. I don't do that. I got 2 or 4 other calls from friends like, my husband's down in the basement, he's pulling out the guns, and well, what's going on? I said, it's just an electrical storm. But the thing of it is, you won't know the difference other than your cell phone doesn't work. Now imagine that.
That's
the whole
the key.
society with cell phones no longer work. What do we do?
Right.
Especially millennials. What do? They'll fall silent. It'll take days to process. My cell phone doesn't work anymore. Now who do I talk to?
Yeah, and how? How do I talk to them? Yeah, well, that's what I was thinking. It's like if the cell towers go down, then your phone, no matter, even if it's protected in a Faraday cage, it won't matter.
That's right. Gee, isn't that great?
Wow. It's
like
a complete wipeout.
Cans of string.
Yeah, we'd be going back to that. Well, I know a lot of people think that something like this would make us come together. I don't think that's the case. Mm-mm. I think it would make people very afraid and very desperate, and it would be rough times, even like I would just say exponential rough times. Because, again, it's like you talk about just a few things that are needed. And when people don't have water, people don't have food, they get really cranky.
Where in the Berkshire? Are you near a large town or small town?
Everything's small towns up here. I'm like 45 minutes away from, I would say a small city.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But we're not near anything metropolitan.
The major cities will be gone. Within a matter of hours, they're going to descend into chaos. We think it's bad in the cities now. Well, when the bad guys wake up and realize the police aren't working, nothing's working, I can do anything I want. And secondly, in a major city, I'll add the woman that's near Tucson. Where does your water come from? PK, where does your water come from?
We have well water here in my area. We have well water, but it comes from the major flow from California through Colorado, and they're starting to bar there being any more building right now in the Phoenix area in certain areas. So that tells us where the water situation is coming. So we've got problems already.
A moral question. You're 3 days in, you haven't had water in a day, and your daughter is saying, Daddy, I'm thirsty. And you go outside and you see somebody with a couple of bottles of water. How far are you willing to go to try and convince that person to give you a bottle of water, which they might not want to give away? These type of moral questions, like out of old Twilight Zone episodes, are just pounding. I'm optimistic about small towns. The town I live in is about 5,000 people, about 15 miles east of Asheville. I think small towns might respond fairly well, but even then, the average town only has 20 days worth of food on hand. That's from what's pulling up in the market on a train or a truck to what's in your fridge. And all of that, of course, is going to 3 to 4 days. So no water, no food after 20 days, no medication. Gastrointestinal illness will start breaking out in 5 to 7 days because all the water supplies are polluted. Because right now, the water supply gets treated before it's pushed back into the river. Well, it's just going to be flowing in. All our rivers will be sewers. And, yes, that's why you need a water purification system. And they don't cost much. $25 or $30, you can get a basic water filter, that screws onto a 2-liter bottle, and you treat it that way. Or even just putting some bleach into a bottle of water will taste terrible, but it purifies it. So all these factors, major cities will be hellholes within 5 days.
Yeah, you're bringing up some will points that most people don't think about. And how quickly things will descend into chaos, especially in the metropolitan areas. And these cities will just implode. And the people that can get out are going to want to come to places like the mountains of North Carolina, right? And go, well, hey, we're going to see what's out there. So then you're talking about protecting what you have and all of that kind of happy stuff. So, yeah, I mean, this whole descent into darkness is really, really upsetting. But it's so important that people wake up to this and start putting pressure on their senators and representatives to do something, like you said, at the state level. It's like people have to stop being so darn complacent and realize the risk is so high, and especially with the administration we have that doesn't care at all about us. And it's just so busy laundering money all over the world that we are at high risk, very high risk. So and I also want to mention that your book is wonderful because, as we discussed before, it's a very personal story. It's about real people that you brought to life on the page going through this. And it really raises awareness. The book is so well done, and it raises a lot of awareness through story. So I want to urge everybody to read your books. And it's, I know it's troubling. It's troubling to me. It's troubling to PK. It's troubling to all of us. But then we got to do something. We can't just sit back and think somebody else is going to take care of this. We have to do what we can.
The genesis of the book, I started around 2000. I was playing around with the idea of EMP for several years, but I couldn't find where the novel to hang it on, the story to hang it on. And in 2005, I was sitting at a graduation ceremony for my college. It was 90 degrees. I was roasting in my graduate robe. The graduate speaker just kept going on forever and ever and ever for 45 minutes, and I just would, please shut up, let's get this over with. And I'm looking out at the audience. I'm looking at my kids. We're a small college. I know my students. And God slapped me on the side of the head. It was like, that's the story. Write the story about my town, my friends, my neighbors. So
right.
Almost everybody in the story, 1 second after, are real people. You know, change the names to protect the innocent, but these are my neighbors. I interviewed my pharmacist, who became a character. What would happen in your pharmacy if we lost all power? She was crying at the end of an hour. She said, I don't even want to think about this. The police chief, I remember sitting talking with him. I said, what would you do first? And he actually picked up the phone, and then he just said, you're right. The phones aren't going to work, are they? Now what do I do? Talk to my vet, deal with the medication, talk to school teachers, to the nursing home. These all became people I knew, and I just simply brought them into the book. It made writing the book very easy.
Well, it's a very personal story, obviously, and that's what makes it, what makes it so fascinating and so relatable and so scary, because it is a definite cascade of terrible events. And as a society, we're not known for coming together to help each other out. It's more like, what am I going to have to do to survive this? But what about rebuilding? Is there a way? I mean, because you're talking about once it's gone, and we don't have anything to rebuild with.
Dr. Peter Pry, again, I mentioned him earlier. He was the guide for me. He's gone now, and I find more and more I'm getting stuck with some of the questions he used to deal with. Dr. Peter Pry originally testified that 1 second after an EMP, America will be thrown back to 1870, pre-electrical.
Wow.
When I met with Dr. Pry for the first time, I said, I love all your work, but I'll disagree with one thing. The people who lived in 1870 knew how to live in 1870, the same way we know how to live in our society now. Pull the electricity out, you're going to have a nation of people who have no idea what to do.
Right.
We'll be thrown back 1,000. We're going to be thrown back 1,000 years and then have to rebuild. Now, after 5, 10, 15 years, we'll have a generation of kids that's their world again. Don't know how to live in it. But people are going to die because they don't know the basics of how to stay alive. Early in the book, I have a character. He's talking with the doctor, and the doctor starts running down all the patients he's had within the last day. Somebody's chopping wood for the first time in years and puts an axe in his leg. Somebody figures, I'm going to go and hunt something, and he winds up shooting his neighbor. We don't know how to live in that type of society. However, in small towns, at least we have a bit of a better chance of finding like-minded people who get together.
Right. You can barter with them and hopefully do things like that to make it a little bit easier. And being in a small town that's remote is a good idea, too. But now, people that are living off the grid now, and there's a number of them,
yes,
they're really ahead of the game, aren't they?
Yes, they are. Some of them get a bit extreme. It's almost like they sound like, remember the old character actor Peter Lorre?
Yeah.
I can't wait for the disaster to happen. And then the hell with all of it. I'll show you, those type of people, they're out there, all right? I avoid them like the plague. The average prepper if I'm going to profile the average prepper, it's a family person, has kids, maybe grandkids. There's a fair percentage, are people of faith. And I always argue churches, synagogues, places like that would be an ideal place to bring a community together. And I was just talking with a group of ministers a couple of months ago. I said, if you went out to your congregations and said, I'm concerned about this issue. I've read this book 1 second after. I want to do something about it. You'd be surprised how many people would then be willing to work, and we're going to have 2 dogs barking like crazy in 5 seconds because my girlfriend's pulled up, but I'm going to go into the next room. So hang on.
Okay.
Hang on.
We will wait.
Okay. Oh, yes. Okay.
Not a problem.
She's here. Yes. Okay. Yeah, she's been away all day. Okay. Take them outside. I have 2 golden. Yeah, 2 golden doodles.
What kind of dogs do you have?
2 golden doodles.
Oh,
golden doodles.
sweet.
They're really cute, but boy, they're crazy. So, next question.
So, bringing people together through these ministries is a wonderful thing, and I'm hoping that, God forbid this ever happens, that we will stand a chance through community efforts like that. But there is so much to consider, and we're just bringing up a few things, but this is everything. So, and I think the medical thing is really critical because so many people today are on multiple medications, not just one, but many, not necessarily making them feel any better, but they're on a lot of medication.
But they're out there.
Right. That goes away, or an injury happens, like you mentioned the guy with the axe, and they're done.
Okay, to use just like one example, about 20 to 25% of the population are on some sort of mood-altering drug, be it Xanax or Adderall or whatever. Consider all that gets pulled out from under you. One scary one, about one half to 1% of the population are on antipsychotic medication. Mm-hmm. Within about 30 days, they're going to go crazy. What about cancer medication? Fair percentage of people. People who have had a transplant. You don't take that medication every day, within a month, you're going to get very sick and be gone. Mm-hmm. And the one that always bothered me a bit was diabetes. Children with severe, first-level diabetes are going to be in very serious trouble very, very quickly because the medication is gone. So, there's a whole cascade of medications or nursing homes. What happened to the nursing home? You don't even want to think about it.
That's gone. They'll be done. There's no way to save them without, medication and care and also sanitation. I mean, sanitation is going to be a huge issue.
There would be none.
Or the personnel don't show up.
How could they? They can't drive their car there.
Can't drive their car there, and they have to make a choice. Do I stay home because of my kids, or do I walk 5 miles to the nursing home? No, I'm staying home.
Exactly.
So when I wrote the first book, 1 second after, my father was fighting out the last months of his life in a nursing home, going out like an old cavalry trooper that he was. And I remember talking to the administrator. The power goes. What happens? Well, we have the emergency generator. Well, suppose that cooks off as well if it's hardwired. What happens to my father's respirator? Mm-hmm. Well, we could use bottled oxygen for a while, and then, in worst case, you're going to use a squeeze ball to keep pushing oxygen into your father. And I say, in other words, when I get too tired to squeeze anymore, I watch him die. And she said, that's it.
Oh, dear Lord.
These are hard choices we don't think about because we're so used to the normalcy that everything's going to work.
Yeah, and that, like you said, there's personnel that are supposed to take care of these kinds of things, but they're not going to show up for work. So why would they?
That's right. They've got their own to look after.
They do. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And also, the purpose of this type of strike, you have to think about, too, what's coming next. I mean, if one of those countries that you mentioned sets this off and we are in a very vulnerable state, then what?
They don't have to do anything. Seriously. Once you've blown the grid, all they have to do is sit back and watch. We'll devour ourselves within a matter of days. That's the scary part of it. Again, 80 to 90% will die within a year, 2 years max. At the end of the first book, I had my main character talking to an Army officer who said, "Oh, yeah, North Korea did it to us, and we flattened them." To which his response was, "Does that change anything for us? My daughter's dying. My neighbors are dying."
It sure doesn't.
It doesn't. Is retaliation morally correct even at that point? Because who are you going to kill in North Korea? The slaves that are on the surface, while the leadership sits underground.
The leadership is what you aim for, but you can't get to them.
You can't.
No.
And
frightening.
I remember somebody fairly high-ranking in government commented to me once. He said, "Bill, just trust the elite will take care of their own while the rest of us suffer."
Well, they're doing that now, aren't they?
Yeah, they sure are. They're having a great time, aren't they?
That's right. So, yes, I mean, that's the elite will always take care of themselves and let hang everybody else out to dry. That's what they're known for. And, it's amazing that so many people don't even want to see that, but that is the truth. And the same is about looking at this possibility. As hard as it is, it's important that we acknowledge it. And thank you for writing the books, for trying to wake people up to this possibility.
Well,
because we do have to get responsible here.
I never expected it to take off the way it did. I was talking to my publicity people the other day. They said we've sold over 1 million copies. Heck, I thought if I sold 5,000 copies, that would be good. But what's happening is a lot of people are at least becoming aware that you say EMP today, and they know what you're talking about. 15 years ago, nobody knew what we were talking about. So there is progress. I'm praying in 2024 people get angry and start pushing for concrete action, not just a lot of platitudes.
Yes, exactly. Now, is there any way to stop an EMP strike?
Once it started, no. The delivery system, it's not going to be a balloon like we saw a couple of months ago. It will be a intercontinental ballistic missile. Once that thing leaves the pad, there's no stopping it. 8 to 12 minutes later, it will detonate. That's it. Very little warning for. You can't stop it.
Not even time to do anything.
So it can't be shot out of the air. So even if we knew it was coming, we can't shoot it out of the sky.
We might be able to intercept out on the West Coast because there's some anti-ballistic missile systems up in Alaska. But for central United States, something launched off the eastern United States on a container ship, ain't no stopping it. Once it's up, it's up, and then disaster follows.
Oh, my goodness.
Boy, you're having a good day with me, aren't you?
Well, but it's important, Bill. It's so important what you're talking about, and that you're sharing it on a very personal level in these books, and people need to wake the hell up and understand that this could happen. It's probable.
Years ago in California, when the children had to have they learn how to get under the desks for fear of what was going to be coming. Was that back in the 50s?
Yeah,
so
I remember having to practice that.
Old is new again, just a different form.
It's just worse. Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
It's just so much worse.
Ma'am, the world you and I grew up in, and, I don't know how old you are, but in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, it was deck and cover. It was the idea, you're going to throw your city busters at us, we throw city busters at you, we blow everything up, nobody wins. This is a game changer. This would mean just 3 small weapons, and military people call it an asymmetrical first strike, meaning it's an unknown system that's launched and we're not prepared for. Nearest equivalent would be on September 10th, 2001, if I had gone out in the street and said, look at those planes. Tomorrow could use that as a ballistic missile almost, they would think I was crazy. Well, the day after, everybody knew we could turn a plane into a missile. But we didn't the day before.
Right. Yeah. It's absolutely true. Nobody ever thought that would happen.
Yeah.
And it did.
Your information is so helpful for so many. Learning to pay attention, so important.
Yes.
And I like what you... Go ahead.
Well, I'm not saying be obsessed about it. We got to live our lives,
Of course.
Yes. My girlfriend come over, watch a movie, have a glass of wine, We live our lives. It's just, this should be somewhere in the back of your mind that this is something I have to address. Maybe I need to put a few more emergency supplies in. Never going to hurt to have them.
Yes, and it's such a good idea what you suggested, that when you just go to the grocery store the next time, spend $20 on canned items, bring them home, store them, and then you've started to prepare. So that makes so much sense on so many levels, even not even thinking about an EMP, but just to have some extra food available. I mean, look at all these processing plants that were blown up out of nowhere.
You go in the supermarket now, and the canned food aisle, not many people there, and there's sales, 3 cans for $1. Just stock up. It doesn't take all that much.
No, it doesn't.
And then water is the other thing. Make sure you have a clean water source, either through, a little filter system, but also stockpile some water in your house.
Yeah.
And amongst other things, if you got time, fill up your bathtub. You know why?
Right.
Well, you need water to flush the toilet, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
As long as you got water in the bathtub, you can still take care of that necessary chore. Little things like that we don't think.
Yeah. Yeah, we've gotten so soft, and we don't think about things like this, but we need to. We really, really need to. This is, Phil, this has been so helpful. Thank you so much for coming on the show. This has been enlightening, and your books are wonderful. So everybody should go and read your first book, your second book, your third book. There's so much to pay attention to. And like you said, you made this a personal story about your own town. So the name of your first book is 1 Second After. Is that it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. 1 Second After. You said start there. The one that we were sent is 5 years after. So those are the books. Those are the books to look for, everybody. Look for those books. Get them on Amazon or wherever your local bookstore is, and read them so that you get your awareness where it needs to be about this. And then contact your senators and representatives. Tell them to get off their fat rear ends and do something instead of pushing papers around their desk and collecting a salary, which is what I think ours are doing. So anyhow, it's time to start putting some pressure on. But we're too silent. We've been too silent on especially this. So, again, your presence here on the show, Bill, you have no idea how much we appreciate this. It means the world to us, because we like our audience to be informed, and we like our audiences to be proactive and get involved. So thank you very much, and we do hope to see this on the big screen or little screen sometime. It would be a great movie. It really would, and it would help so many people to understand what we've become understanding of tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And hopefully a year from now we'll be able to see something on the big screen. And as always, God bless the United States, because we need it.
Yes, exactly. Well, thank you. And we'll be back next week, everybody, with another great show. We have Kay. She is coming back, Medical Intuition, and we're going to be talking about other things, too, remote viewing of properties and more. So be sure to join us next week. Until then, we will see you on the Blue Highway. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Thanks for listening. Tune in next week for another radio adventure with Supernatural.